Welcome to the Real Estate Growth Network podcast. Today was a special one. We had a good friend, Eric Hatch, on. We were talking triangles, we were talking acronyms, and it was just fully packed full of information from new agents to seasoned agents. You're going to get something out of it. Chase, what did we talk about?
Well, grab your pens, grab your pads. If you're driving, sorry, there's a lot that's encompassed here. First of all, I think I love the story. Eric's been a well-rounded person, having been on a team, having been a part-time agent, having been running his own team, doing solo deals, being a coach, running his own brokerage. He's got a little bit of everything for you. And I think you're going to want to stay until the very end to make sure you get his CAGE acronym. It's very powerful.
Yeah, and if you're a seasoned agent, stay till the very, very end because he gave probably one of the best perspectives that you can have as a seasoned agent that you just need to know. So hope you guys enjoy. And here is a real estate titan that is pushing the limits on the status quo.
And it took years and years of failing to get where I am today.
You're like, whoa, where you actually get the most clarity.
That was kind of one of those pivotal moments when I started building a business.
I spent a lot of time becoming an expert salesperson.
We have a guest today. If you haven't realized, this is Eric Hatch. Rather than reading some long, drawn-out thing, why don't you, in a minute or so, just tell us who you are and what's got you here?
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. I live in Fargo, North Dakota. Why? Because somebody has to. I'm born and raised here, and I've tried to run from here a handful of times, but God's always kind of pulled me back. He's like, yeah, I'm not done with you yet. And so I got into real estate about 20 years ago. I was in the ministry for about a decade doing youth ministry, and it was awesome. Really cool, fulfilling job, but boy, was I broke. And so got into real estate, and I've kind of lived every chapter, Chase. I was a part-time agent, then I was an agent on a team, then I was a full-time solo agent, then I was an agent that had just an admin. Then I grew a really large team. That team got kicked out of Keller Williams back in 2013. I then rebuilt, opened up my own brokerage, did that for 7 years, got out of production. I was selling 150 houses a year personally, while my team was selling as well. Got out of production in 2014 when my daughter was born. And so I've been out of production now for 12 years. And my team now has sold over 8,000 houses. And we've done a lot of really cool things in the industry. But I have that mythical 7th level business. I have a president that runs everything. So I own a real estate company, but I'm not in production. So then I shifted my energy over the last decade or so into coaching because people were hungry, I think, to make more and to work less. The American dream is not home ownership. The American dream is I want a bunch of money and I don't want to work very hard. And so I've really leaned into that to help people to make a ton of money, to have a really great life. But that life shouldn't just be fulfilling in the concept of like, I have a big business. I need people to win at home, to be great spouses, to be great parents, to have their health. All those things matter a lot in order to live a whole life. And I'm on a mission to try to help as many people as possible do just that.
Got it. Well, I kind of want to jump in since you've done all these different things. If you gave us a little bit of what you learned about that, I have opinions. I know Brent does too. I want to hear yours on why a team, why a brokerage, why solo, why build a team, why join a team. What are your thoughts around those since you've done it all?
Yeah. Let me say this is to David and Marianne and Mary, thank you for having your cameras on. If everybody else could have your cameras on, I'm assuming you're pooping right now if your camera's off. If you're not, I'd love to see your face so I'm able to converse. I'll tell you this, Chase. When I started out in real estate, my first year was 2006. And I don't mean to brag, but I sold 0 houses. It was pretty good. It was really interesting to get into real estate because I had what most people don't have, right? I told you I'm born and raised in Fargo, and it's a small town, 140,000 people. And when you've been here your whole life, you know everybody when you go to the grocery store and to Chili's, which is lovely, and Applebee's. We have all the good stuff here. So I found myself deep in relationship, but low in habit. And I think in order to succeed in this business, at every single chapter, you have to look at relationship and habit. Okay. My accelerator for my business was the relationships that I had. I was working at a church with 5,000 members. I was born and raised in this community, and I was always active in building rapport and relationships. And so I was well known, and really I was known well. I'm a pretty transparent guy. And so I feel like people understood that. But I I expected magically, because I had relationship, that it was going to breed and bring to me a really great real estate business. And it didn't. It didn't until I matched habit with that. And the habit, especially for those people who haven't reached their goals yet. By the way, if you haven't reached your goals, I want to give you what I think is the clearest way to stare at it. I want you to draw a triangle. If you're taking notes, I want you to draw a triangle right now. And on the left side of the triangle, I want you to write the word skill. On the right side of the triangle, I want you to write the word effort. And on the bottom of the triangle, I want you to write the word opportunity. All of these are the habit triangle. Okay, so habit can go in the middle. Then you have skill, effort, and opportunity if you drew that out. I remember, thank you, Brent.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Some of us are products of the COVID market, and the game was fun. The game was easy. Fish were jumping in the boat, and we thought that we were great fishermen. And then things obviously have been harder. If you don't know, 23, 4, 5, and 6 are the 4 most difficult, challenging years in real estate that we've experienced since the mid-90s for number of transactions sold. And there's, of course, twice as many realtors and like all the things. And so what I find is sometimes that I've met my world with excuses, right? When I really started getting cooking in real estate, it was the 2008 market crash. And so it was easy to blame a lack of opportunity. But when COVID hit, it was like a bunch of little fig trees that we had to chop down. It's a bunch of fig trees. And now it's redwood trees. We actually still have a very, very lush forest. My wife went to the redwood forest in California last year, and she sent me a picture. My wife's this like 5'10" beautiful bombshell, right? Because I'm good at sales. And so she's standing next to these trees, and she looks absolutely tiny. It's like, oh my gosh, these things are monstrous. Like, there's still a forest full of trees, absolutely positively full and lush of trees. We just have to get a sharper.
Just so I'm clear, what you're saying is the fig trees in 2020 and 2021, easy to cut down, easy to get to the bounty.
You could pull them out of the ground, right?
Yeah, you could just yank them. And now you're saying redwood trees, as in like you got to take a lot more wax. You got to do a lot more work to get the bounty.
1,000%. Like,
okay.
So what we have to look at is we have to look at skill and effort, right? We go back to it and we say, well, is it skill or is it effort that we need to do? Because I know a bunch of people that are showing up every day and they actually have the habit of swinging an axe 100 times. I'm going to have 100 conversations or 100 outbound attempts. I'm going to do this. But their axe is so friggin' dull.
Yeah.
It's like trying to knock down a redwood tree with a sledgehammer. It's irresponsible. It's not the right way. Yeah. There's this old tale that talks about how there's 2 men that go to work at 8 a.m. and their job is to chop down trees. And when the day is over, they look to see who's chopped down the most trees. And the guy who starts at 8 and finishes at 5 chops down like 10 trees a day. But then there's the guy who starts at 8 and stops at noon, comes back at 1:30 and finishes at 5, and he chops down 20 trees. And the question is, how is this other guy chopping down so many more trees? Well, it's because in that 90-minute lunch break, he goes to sharpen his axe. And I hate to tell you, Brent and Chase is probably the more seasoned agents that are on here. Like, we as OGs, old folks who've been doing this for a long time, we think we're still swinging a sharp axe. And realistically, it has dulled itself out over the months and the years because every little nuance piece matters right now. And until we have the habit of practicing daily, which is sharpening our axe, and until we have the habit of taking the right number of swings, we won't ever chop down the trees based on the opportunities that present themselves today.
What's interesting about what you just said is even if you're seasoned and you've been doing this a long time, if you forget to sharpen your axe, if you forget to practice and you forget, because the market is ever changing, the way we sell real estate evolves. And so you could fall into the same exact trap even if you're seasoned.
No doubt. I mean, if you've met your goals for the last year or two, again, feel free to mute me and just appreciate the eye candy that I bring today. But for the rest of you, I didn't meet my goals last year. And so it's skill, it's effort, or it's opportunity. You had asked originally, like, how did I start to build this and what does this look like? I had a massive transformation in my life that started in November of 2022. In November 2022, my business about collapsed. In 2021, my real estate team in Fargo, North Dakota sold 1,024 houses.
I remember you posting that. I remember that.
I mean, it was wild. We were the number 35 real estate team in the country without Zillow Flex, without anything else. My per agent productivity for each of my agents, we sold 1,024 houses with 35 agents.
Wow.
So my per agent productivity averaged 30 deals per agent. I had 19 people on my team make a 6-figure income on a real estate team in Fargo, North Dakota, where our average sales price at that time was $275,000. Like, we did the damn thing, right? And within 30 days, I lost half of my production in November of 2022. And the reason why is there's 1,000 layers to it, but I had other businesses I was running and chasing after, and we were dealing with a really hard market, and I became an unintentional deadbeat dad. And what I mean by that is, and I grew up with a deadbeat dad, so I certainly understand what that looks like. He wasn't around often, and when he was, he'd like try to buy me an experience or throw money at me to make me feel like I was valued and that I mattered, when all I really wanted was my dad, and all I really wanted was time. And I wasn't willing to give my team the time because I had other family members. I had other businesses that I was building, and a bunch of them resented that and left, right? There was a hard time and I wasn't there for them, and that's all on me. But I was in a difficult spot in my life as well. I hit a point on the scale, literally and physically and metaphorically and all the other ways, where I weighed in at 346 pounds. Now, I'm 6'2". I'm built like a lineman in the first place, and so I'm never going to be 180. But I found myself fatter than I ever had been. And the fatness of my body matched the fatness of my business, not the good kind of fat, the bad kind of fat, as well as my spiritual life and relationships that I had. And I was just absolutely crushed. And so I looked at my world and I'm like, how am I going to change this? And for me, whenever I start something in the physical sense, the rest of my habits follow suit, right? If I can move my body physically, emotionally, I get caught up pretty quick. And so I saw on October 31st on Halloween that somebody was doing a 100 push-up a day challenge for the month of November. The goal was to do 100 push-ups a day. When you finish that month, you'll have done 3,000 push-ups. And gang, I'm 346 pounds. The only push-ups I'm interested in are the ones that are orange and that you just like have that delicious sherbet treat. I hope you understand that joke. That's a wonderful joke if you grew up in the Midwest and you know what the push-up pops are. I don't know if you have them in Boise, but nonetheless.
I've had those. Just
okay. Thank you.
And yeah,
thank you for not leaving me hanging, Chase, on the push-up joke.
Creamsicle.
Exactly. So I got after it and I'm like, I'm going to do 100 push-ups, and it's November 1st. And I did 18, and then I did 15, and then I did 13, and then I had some pizza rolls, and then I did 10, but I got to 100, and gang, it hurt. I was embarrassed with how out of shape I was. But I was like, I need to commit to this. And to do 100 push-ups is going to take me 5 minutes, not counting the breaks, but like to do the actual 100 push-ups is going to take me 5 minutes at most. Like, I can choose to do something hard for 5 minutes. And so I looked at it and I'm like, okay. At the same time, I'm listening to Ed Mylett's The Power of One More. Incredible book, incredible writing, incredible mindset. Yeah. He has TED Talks and all these podcasts and everything else that are on it. And so it's called The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. And he's like, well, if you can do 100, you can do 110. And if you can do 110, you can do 120. And so I went and I committed to doing 100 push-ups, but I had Ed Mylett in my head. And so when the month finished, because I kept doing a little bit more and a little bit more, I did 4,000 push-ups that month at 346 pounds while my business is collapsing because I couldn't control what was going on around me. Those were already the results of the lack of maintenance that I had given in my life. And so they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago and the second best time is today. And the best time to get in shape is 20 years ago. The best time to do your lead generation every day is 20 years ago. The best time to work on your business intentionally and to do the skill, the effort, the opportunity, the best time to actually form your habits is 20 years ago. But the next best time is today. And so I didn't make the goal out to lose a bunch of weight. I just did a 30-day sprint. Please write down 30-day sprint. It maybe is the best thing that I can gift you right now, because I think our goals are bull crap, Brent and Chase. What happens is we set a goal of I want to sell 40 houses this year, but we don't ever change our habits. We don't ever change our skill and our effort in that short sprint. And so when halfway up through the year, August 24th comes up and we're like, well, I was supposed to sell 40, but I'm only at 11 right now. And we wonder how that happened.
So do you think it's because it's so far off in the distance that we don't adjust our micro habits?
Absolutely.
Okay.
1,000%. We don't understand that a goal is hit by a 30-day sprint.
Okay.
That push-up challenge for me in November 22 changed my mindset on this, because I then went in the month of December and I'm like, I'm going to do 3,000 push-ups again. I just made another goal. But secretly, because I did 4 the previous month, I was like, I'm going to do 5,000 push-ups this month. month. And on December 19th, I did my 4,000th push-up on December 19th. I was pacing ahead of schedule. I had done 280 on the 18th and I did 350 on the 19th. And on the 20th, I blew out my shoulder because I actually found the limit. Most of us don't go anywhere near the limit. I actually found the limit. And so then I pivoted and I moved to sit-ups and I moved to planking and I moved to all these other things. Gang, fast forward 2.5 years, I lost over 100 pounds. Like I had big goals for my life, but the only way to get there is to look at a 30-day sprint and figure out what am I going to commit to that's going to be uncomfortable. But it's not a lifestyle change. It was 5 minutes, dude.
But here's what I'm seeing. I wrote down your triangle, right? And it's skill, effort, opportunity. That all equals your habit or habits in the middle. But to me, I would put an equal sign next to that and write identity, because what happened is you became someone who identified as someone who works out. Yeah. And so when you blew out your shoulder, a lot of people would just quit. But you now have an identity. Yeah. Like, this is who I am. I work out every day.
I love that you use the word identity, because I've had to rewrite my identity. I've had to take a different look to believe that I am the man of worth. When you're fat and out of shape and you're looking in the mirror, man, there's some negative self-talk that happens. And again, fat is literal or physical, right? Like if you're not hitting your goals, there's some negative self-talk that gets in there. But like I got that dog in me, and I got to be able to say that. So here's what it looked like. Is I just committed every month to a new 30-day sprint. And that was it. Now, I accelerated. I live mostly in the coaching world now. I'm privileged to have a coaching company, and the people I serve are ambitious builders, right? So if you want to build a big life, if you're trying to go after whatever it may be, if you're an ambitious builder, I think I can help you get there to make more money in less time. And the people that I'm surrounding myself with now are coming to me saying like, Eric, how do I get better? And I look at my world saying, Eric, how can I get better? And so what I do now is I practice what I preach, which is so rare in this world, is to actually practice what you preach. And so my lead generation every day is I make sure that I have at least 20 conversations a day. And it's really, really simple, because sometimes we look at people who have big lives or have complex results. And I'm fortunate, if you missed the beginning of this conversation, I'm coming off of a 7-week sabbatical where I took off 7 full weeks this summer, and I still got paid for my businesses, and I still live this incredible life. And this year alone, I've traveled to Australia and Bali and Spain and Hawaii. And like, I'm living a life I never dreamt possible. So and the reason why is because it's based on one simple thing. It's my 30-day sprint, and my 30-day sprint that has been the last number of months has been, I'm going to have at least 20 conversations a day with people. And that's it.
So Eric, let's back this up. You started with like you knew a ton of people and a ton of people knew you, but that did not equal business.
No.
So you talk about opportunity, effort, and skill. It sounds like you had a foundation of a ton of opportunity. And I think everyone on this call does. And then you have skill and effort. I mean, would you say you were putting the effort in or you weren't putting the effort in?
I didn't have the skill or the effort. I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you caught that observation. I recognize that just because I knew the people didn't mean that I was trustworthy, and didn't mean that I think that most people actually might feel like they're light on opportunity. But I will tell you, expireds, FSBOs, for rent by owners, which is a huge opportunity right now that nobody's talking about, as well as Sphere and database. I mean, I can give you a long list of ways in which you can be crazy successful, so long as you match the opportunity with the skill and the effort. And so for me, the voice that I worked on was I only wanted to work on Mets, people that I was in relationship with. So when I was selling 150 houses a year while running my team, personally, I was selling 150 homes a year. It was all past clients in Sphere of Influence. These were all people that I was getting referred to or people that I knew. And so what I did is I got really intentional with my language of how to appear to be trustworthy, right? I hope, of course, that I'm trustworthy, but I need to appear to be trustworthy. And that meant I had to be interested in them more than them being interested in me. Now, understand, when I post on social media, and I post a lot on social media, when I post on social media, that is meant to have people be curious about me or interested or laugh with me or share in something aligned with me. But where I win is in the DMs, and that's what nobody sees. Where I win is in the cheerleading that I do of other people from their stories. Where I win is the messages and the galvanizing that I send out there all the time. So the skill that I had to develop was I had to make sure that people had eyes on me and they remembered that I existed and they knew that I was in real estate. And then I would have 20 conversations a day. That was my effort part. 20 conversations a day of meeting them in their DMs and sending them voice memos and video messages and just cheering people on and inviting people to something.
I was just going to say what you said is really interesting. And I think I want everybody to hear this, because I think when people hear 20 conversations a day, they're thinking what scares them away from the first step is they're thinking I have to pick up the phone and call and talk to 20 different people. And what I just heard you say is there's a lot of different creative ways to create 20 conversations a day in your world.
Yeah. I count a conversation as back and forth correspondence.
Okay.
Okay. And
Great.
it does not count if it's anybody I'm currently transacting with. That's not one of the 20. These are people that I'm hoping to have future business with. And here's what I do. Remember, I said I go after my past clients' sphere of influence, people that I'm in a relationship with. And I want to be a cage fighter, CAIG. Please write this down. Okay.
CAIG.
CAIG. The C is to compliment. So if I see that Sherry is on social media and her kid just hit a home run, their very first home run ever in baseball, I'm going to land in Sherry's DMs and I'm going to be like, Sherry, I can't believe that Isaac just hit a home run. Oh my gosh, that must be incredible for you as a mom. What dedication you have. I'm super impressed with the passion that you have for your kid. And please tell him congratulations. Right? Compliment isn't saying good job, everybody. A compliment is very specific based on something that you see. And notice I cheered her on as a parent. And then if I really want to win, here's what I'm going to do, because I think that we all blur AI in the wrong sort of way. I'm not going to have AI send that message out, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go to AI and I'm going to say, okay, Chat GPT or Claude, please turn this into an old-timey newspaper article. I'm providing for you a picture of this kid named Isaac. His mom is Sherry. She's a friend of mine. And and Isaac just hit his first home run ever. So please, like an ESPN commentator, write up an article that showcases how cool it is for Isaac to hit his first home run. He's 9 years old and he plays in Little League and they live in Boise, Idaho, right? So 30 seconds of conversation with ChatGPT. I'm going to see it. That had happened. I'm going to say it to ChatGPT, and then it's going to send me a cool image of an old newspaper article. And I'm going to print that, and I'm going to send that to Sherry. And I promise you that's going to be on Isaac's wall in his bedroom until he graduates high school.
Wow. That's brilliant, though. That's so smart. It's so smart. And how long
See
did that
it?
actually take you, right?
Yeah. See it, say it, serve it, set next. Okay, so the set next is a week after I email that picture or send that picture off to Sherry, I'm going to call and be like, hey, I just want to make sure Isaac got this. How's the rest of his season going, by the way? Like, I'm now in massive conversation because I just led with a compliment of something I saw on social media. See it, say it, serve it, set next, and use AI to enhance that, not to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so C is compliment on the cage fighter. A, I'm going to come back to this one because it's my favorite. The I is to invite. Why do we do client events? Why do we connect with people? Why do we, if I'm driving to David's part of town, I'm going to say, David, taking my wife on a date night. What 2 restaurants do I need to consider in wherever you live, right?
That's brilliant.
I'm just asking for his opinion. I'm asking for his 2 cents, or I'm inviting him to a client event that I'm doing. Now, here's where we make a mistake, Brent, is we will mass blast our client event. Okay. I'm going to go on a heater here for a moment because I think that most people do client events terribly wrong. What we do is we start with one-to-many. I'm going to send out an email to 500 people saying, hey, are you excited for Thanksgiving? I know I am. We're giving away pies at our office the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And if you want a free, delicious Costco pie that only costs you $7 and it's easier to go to Costco than to come to my office. But if you want to go get this incredible $7 Costco pie, all you need to do is click on this form here. And that's what we send out as our first invite. And we're like, I'm crushing my sphere right now. But what you did is you just transactionalized your sphere and you put them into this gauntlet of mediocrity because now they feel like they're just getting a spammed email. That spammed email should be step number 2, not step number 1. Here's step number 1.
People want to feel one of one, not one of many. They want to feel that.
1,000%.
Yeah.
So here's what I do is I take my phone and I'm going to send a video message to David. And I'm going to say, David, dude, I was thinking about you because I know you're super busy. We're giving away a bunch of pies for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, man, I want David and his family to have one. If you're interested, reply back and say, yo, give me them deets. Or if you're not, tell me to go take a hike and I'll go get my steps in. But either way, I need you to respond because my follow-up game is strong. Okay?
I love that.
Let me break that down because this is so important for the invite. Number one, please write this down. I swear to you, this will change your response rate from everybody in your sphere by like 5,000%, if that number even exists. It's gonna change. So number one, video message. Number two, address them by name. So they know it's not AI. So they know it's not just some generic video that you're sending out to everybody else. Number three, I was thinking of you. Number four, give them a taste. What I said was, we're giving away a bunch of pies. I want to know if you're interested in. Don't give them everything, right? We make the mistake of we send emails in text message. We give 3 paragraphs of information when realistically we just abandon the actual conversation. Hey, David, I was thinking of you. We're giving away a bunch of pies. I'm hoping you and your family want one. If you do, say, yo, give me them deets. If you're not interested, tell me to take a hike. So number 4 here is give them options. The options are they want more or they're not interested. Step number 5, promise future harassment.
Promise future harassment. I love that.
Because these are my friends. These are my buddies. Why would I not be playful and jovial and silly with them? And now I'm not the a-hole if I send them another message. We get frozen in reaching out because we think I shouldn't, I couldn't, or like, no, they just got busy. They forgot to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But if I promise future harassment and they don't respond, well, guess what? Now I can send them another video or another copy and paste text message. So if it's 3 days later, just like Jesus, I'm going to come back 3 days later. And what's going to happen is I'm going to say, David, actually, I don't even need to say David. I mean, I could say David, but I can be like, yo, I didn't hear from you. Did you watch my video? I'm going to copy and paste that to everybody that didn't respond because I'm trying to save my time.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get some response. And then if there's no response, 2 or 3 days later, hey, I still haven't heard from you. Here's the link if you're interested in getting a pie. Like we got to layer and layer and layer this thing like a delicious 7-layer burrito.
Speaking of time, Eric, we're at 9:31. So you want to finish the G and the A real quick?
I do. Sorry. I thought we had an hour. We only have a half hour. Shame on me. I got so excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're all right.
All right. So we're cage fighting. The G is gratitude. A reason to reach out to your sphere, no doubt, is gratitude. Hunter, you took a chance on me when I was just starting out as a realtor. And now my business is transformed and I can't tell you how much that means to me. Marianne, I was driving through your neighborhood and I saw your house and I was reminded how much I loved working with your family. Just wanted you to know I was thinking of you. Okay.
So brilliant.
Gratitude is nature's most powerful aphrodisiac. Okay. It will get you so far. But the A is ask. And the A is the most important, Brent. Here's why. If you're new, the worst thing you can do is to say, all right, my name's De Niro. I just got my real estate license. Anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, why don't you contact me? I know absolutely nothing about real estate. Like that's what they're saying. But instead, if De Niro calls up Mary and De Niro says, hey, Mary, I just got my real estate license and I've always respected you as a businesswoman. What's the 1 or 2 things I need to be doing in order to make sure I'm successful as a realtor? Okay. Write this down. 3 words. Ask for help. Simon Sinek says we think we become trustworthy when we offer help, but we actually become trustworthy when we ask for help. If you have past clients that you're afraid of calling because you know it went wrong, De Niro, make this call. Hey, Sherry, I was thinking of you. And I realized when we did our deal together last year, I know I wasn't a 10 out of 10. I'd love your help to get better. What's 1 or 2 things I can do better or different so that I can make sure I continue? And what happens is Sherry's going to take De Niro from being this like frustrating, like person that dropped the ball to like, oh man, he's trying to get better. If you ask for help from your past clients, from people that are just in your sphere, whether you're new or experienced or anything else, ask for help will be the most powerful thing you'll do in all of this cage piece. And so how did I grow to sell 8,000 houses? How did I make millions and millions of dollars? How did I work with my sphere only on what I do? It's through being a cage fighter, and you have the skill and the effort and the opportunity all in front of you to increase your habits.
Man.
Well, there was a ton of info here. I've got lots of notes. Landing the plane, since you were planning on being here an hour, I know these guys were planning on being here a half hour, maybe just a few minutes. Does anyone have any questions for Eric before we wrap up here? I didn't see any in the chat. Who's brave?
Chase, let me watch. I'm always a coach. When we ask for questions, and you caught it maybe in the last little subtle things, I'll say, I need 1 or 2 people to ask questions right now before we wrap. And that forces the hand. Instead of saying, does anybody want to? I'll say, I need one or two people to ask questions. And so, and I'm not going anywhere until somebody does. It'll change your response rate in everything that you do. Notice when I said, when you talk to your clients or you talk to your friends, what's one or two things I can do better or different? You don't just leave it as an open-ended. You ask a very specific one or two, and it changes the response rate.
I love it.
I'll ask a question. Brand new agents always say like, hey, what's the number one thing that new agents make mistakes on? What is the number one thing seasoned agents make a mistake on?
I think that a seasoned agent abandons the things that made them a seasoned agent. Do you know what I hate, Kyle? Is I hate lead generation. Really. After 20 years in this business, I expect that my world should be easier. And it was in COVID. Like I was running, I was printing checks all day long because business came to me, and then it got harder. And I'm like, why is it harder? Well, because I've failed to continually lead generate. I have a guy in my world. His name's Brent. I'm a part of Real Broker, and revenue share is a part of a lot of our worlds. And this guy named Brent has a team in Dallas, Fort Worth. Well, Brent in the last 18 months has gone through a massive heart attack and a divorce. Like, holy cow, really, really heavy stuff. And I was with him last week golfing, and he's like, all right, Hatch, I'm ready to get fired up for attracting to my network again. I really want to attract a bunch of agents. And I'm like, bro, you took off a year and you lost 3. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, if you take off a year from the thing that got you there in the first place, you have a year of planting the seed, a year of watering the seed, and a year of pruning all the weeds from the seed before the harvest actually comes. And if we take off a week of lead generation, we actually lose 3 weeks. We take off a month, we lose 3 months. And most seasoned people fail to remember that they need to do the thing always in order to get the results that they so deeply crave.
That's really good. Take off 1, lose 3. You're like 30 behind now, dude.
No, this has been awesome, Eric. I'm not going to get another question. My next step was just calling on someone, so I appreciate the feedback. But guys, follow Eric. Where do you want them to follow up with you if they have any questions? Oh, right there in the chat. There you go. At Real Eric Hatch. Hit him up on Instagram. Thank you guys for staying late. Eric, thank you for all your time. We really appreciate it,
you, man.
It's an honor, guys.
That was awesome.
Great. So have a great day, guys. Go crush it. Implement.
Be well.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Real Estate Growth Network podcast, where we dig into real estate topics.
And we put these out every single week, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
See you later.